Yo, hey guys, Updated here, welcome to another video, and today I'm doing my Stanley Cup playoffs predictions video, and this is like my fourth time trying to record this video, and if I fuck it up this time, then I'm just gonna fucking off myself. Yup, just fucking, if it doesn't turn out good this time, it's whatever. I'm just gonna put it out how it is, and that's pretty much that. Because I am running out of patience, which I already did not have very much of. But here we go, let's get into it. First thing I want to say is I'm a big fan of seeing teams that are not usually in the playoffs competing for the cup. It's always good to see new faces, gives it a fresh feel. You don't ever want to see the same teams every year, so it's good to see some new faces like the Islanders and Hurricanes, Dallas, new faces. I like it. And I like all of these matchups. There's not really a matchup that I can say I don't like. They're all very good and should be very entertaining series. Every single one of them. But without further ado, I want to get into this. All right. So starting off in the first round in the West, we have Calgary and Colorado. Now, should mute my phone. To be fair, Colorado has been playing pretty good right now. Towards the end of the season, they have picked it up. They started off really good, and they kind of dropped off a lot, but they're kind of back on track now, and they're playing the way that they have to be going into the playoffs. So I think that they're ready to put up a fight. Do they win the series? I do not think they do. They have a lot of depth, but Calgary, just with the depth they have, is just too much, especially on the blue line. They're a really strong team defensively. They have a lot of good forwards. They have like Johnny Gaudreau, Monahan, Tkachuk. They have a lot of guys who can put the puck in the net, and that's for sure. Goaltending for Calgary, I have a pretty good opinion about it. Not in a good way, I shouldn't say good, but I have an opinion about it. I just don't think they have really depth goaltending, and that's gonna come up again later on in my prediction for the other rounds. But overall, Colorado is a good team, but right now it's just not their time. It's not their year. They do have Ottawa's first round pick, so maybe they can pick up Jack Hughes or get some good talent. Maybe next year can be a better look for these guys, but right now it's just not their year. But overall, I think Calgary takes this series in a relatively quick series. I'm saying 5 or 6 games. Calgary will take it. Colorado, they have good depth. Like I said, they have McKinnon, Landeskog, Rantanen. If all those guys can step up, maybe they can push it a little bit longer. But I think Calgary is gonna take it for sure. So let me punch them in the second round. San Jose and Vegas. This series could go either way. If you want to talk about how teams are playing going into the playoffs, I think Vegas would have the upper hand. But in terms of a roster, like how good the team is built, San Jose does have the upper hand. But recently it got to a point where San Jose only had 1 win in their last 10 games. But to be fair, they did lose Carlson to injury, but I do not think one player is going to make that big of a difference. So I think they have other problems and other holes that they need to fill in order to fix what is wrong with this team right now. I think they are on a win streak right now, maybe 3 games or 2 games. I think now they have 3 wins in their last 10, but that does not make any sense for this caliber of a team. They should be doing a lot better going into the playoffs. They should have finished higher, I think. They dropped off big time. And Vegas, they picked up Mark Stone at the trade deadline, and he has been really good for them. They have improved a lot since picking up Mark Stone, and he adds depth to the team, and he's going to help them, I think. But something tells me San Jose is a really good team, but I also get a feeling that Vegas is going to take it, just considering how San Jose has been playing as of late. But say if we go back to before the All-Star break, if we go back to, I don't know, January or February, I could see San Jose taking the series, no problem. But I feel like they have some holes to fill, and I think they definitely blew it for this year. But this series could go either way. It could really go either way. Like, if San Jose wins, I would not be surprised. If Vegas wins, I would not be surprised. But it's so hard to pick. This might be the hardest series to pick a winner out of. But if I'm just gonna base it off of recent play, I'm gonna have to pick Vegas to go to the second round. But it could go either way. And I don't really think I'm gonna be right about any of this. It's just for fun. It's a prediction. I'm not sitting here saying I'm going to be right. Like, this bracket is not going to be 100%. And if it is, well, I'm fucking smart, I'd say. But, yeah, I have the gut feeling Vegas is going to take it. Plus, Marc-Andre Fleury, he's a playoff performer. He always steps up in the playoffs big time. He's a guy you can depend on to win you games. And if he plays like himself, plus with how San Jose has been playing, I think Vegas will take this series in a long series. It's going to be at least 7 games, but I pick Vegas. All right, Nashville and Dallas. Now, Dallas did not have the year that they really wanted to have. They could have been a lot better, but at the end of the day, what they wanted was a playoff berth, and they got it. But they're up against a really hot team right now, the Nashville Predators. They have, I think, 7 wins in their last 10 games. Correct me if I'm wrong, but man, Nashville, they picked up a lot of good depth at the trade deadline. They picked up Wayne Simmons, Mikael Granlund, and plus their D-core is just, I think it's one of the top cores in the entire league next to Tampa. Tampa definitely has the strongest D-core, but when you look at Nashville, they're not really that far off from Tampa in terms of their D-core. Like, they have a really strong defense, and I think that's gonna be a factor in this series big time. Plus goaltending, Ben Bishop is good, but I think he's past his prime. And Nashville has Pekka Rinne. It's just goaltending. I think Nashville easily just wins in every category. Offense, defense, goaltending. I think Nashville just overall has the better team, and I'm gonna pick them to beat Nashville in 5 or 6 games. And of course my dog starts barking. I love that. All right, Winnipeg and St. Louis. Man, Winnipeg, they had kind of a disappointing season with a team that is built like this, with all the depth they have and all the scoring and all the big names. It's really disappointing to see them finish with 30 losses. You would think that they would finish like top 3 in the entire league. You'd think that they would have an unreal run, but Laine hasn't produced. Hellebuck has had an off year. The guys that they needed to step up really have not been stepping up, and I think that's going to hurt them in this series. St. Louis, man, they were one of the worst teams in the entire league early in the season before the All-Star break, and like, there were talks about Tarasenko. Were they going to move him at the deadline? Were they going to go for a rebuild? They weren't sure the direction they wanted to go, but St. Louis really picked it up, and now they've made an unreal comeback since the All-Star break, and they've just been a completely different team, one of the hottest teams in the entire league, and that's going to make a difference, I think, in this series, because Winnipeg has kind of cooled off compared to last season, and St. Louis, I think they have 8 or 9 wins in their last 10 games, and they've just been as hot or hotter than the Nashville Predators. And Winnipeg, they really did it to themselves this year, and I think St. Louis is going to pull it off. I think they're going to beat Winnipeg and meet Nashville in the second round. All right, first round in the East, Tampa Bay and Columbus. Tampa Bay, there's not a lot to really say about this team. They're just highly skilled. I have never personally, in all my years of watching hockey, seen such a skilled team. They had a historic season. Like 62 wins is not something you see very often. It is rare you even see a team get past 55 wins or so, 56. They have 62, only lost 20 games combined in the entire season. Only, like, that is unreal. Out of 82 games, they won 62 of them, and that really puts it into perspective. And Kucherov, which with 126 points, he is just ripping it up right now. The whole team is unreal. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind Tampa Bay wins this series. It should be maybe 4 games, maybe 5, depending on how Bob plays. If Bobrovsky really steps up, maybe he can help them go maybe 5 or 6 games, maybe 7 if he really can step up, because he's been playing pretty good here towards the end of the season, but he can't carry them out of the first round, I don't think. But if he can step up, he can maybe make it a longer series. But I think overall, Tampa Bay, just with the caliber they have, Columbus made a lot of moves at the deadline. They have a lot more depth now, like Duchesne, Dzingel. They have the team, but unfortunately they got put up against a really strong team in Tampa Bay, and it's just, that's their fate. I think it's going to be a 5 or 6 game series for Tampa Bay. Not really much discussion there. All right, Boston and Toronto. I'm a big Bruins fan. I have been all my life. Fucking love this team so much. We had an unreal year, arguably better than last year, which is really a statement, because we had an insane year last year too. And Toronto, they really opened up the year on a good note. They were playing solid hockey, but lately they have dropped off a lot. I think they have 7 wins in their last 10 games, which, looking at that, you think there's some problems. Just like San Jose, they need to realize what's wrong here and wake up. The boys are sleeping a little bit. But in Boston, with the depth they have, we picked up Marcus Johansson, Charlie Coyle. We picked up some names at the deadline that really helped us out for depth. And it's Rask. He's usually a good performer in the playoffs. Anderson, he doesn't really show up in the playoffs. He chokes. He is not really reliable in the playoffs, and I think that's going to be a very weak asset for the Leafs. There's no doubt in my mind that Boston does not eliminate Toronto. That's not even me being biased. I just genuinely cannot see it happening. Toronto, with how they've been playing lately, is just not going to cut it. And it's definitely going to be a good series. The last time Toronto won a series was in 2004, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, and their last 2 or 3 eliminations have been in the hands of Boston, and this one is going to be a bloodbath. This is a rival now. I would say Boston's new rival is less Montreal. It's more a Boston and Toronto rival now. And this is going to be a really good series to watch. It's going to be a bloodbath, man. These teams do not like each other. And I don't know. It could go either way depending on how it kind of boils over. But I think it's safe to say I got Boston beating Toronto in 6 games, maybe 7. It's not going to be a blowout series. It's not going to be a quick series for sure. But safe bet to say I think Boston eliminates Toronto in the first round. All right, Washington and Carolina. I think Carolina is a lot better of a team than what people think they are. And they're not going to be as much of an underdog team that people are saying that they're going to be. I have Carolina, man. There's something stewing over there. I don't know. They're unreal. The fans are into it. The Surge's Don Cherry has a lot of opinions. We all know that. And people have mixed opinions about the Surge and what they're doing. But it's for the fans, The fans love it. It makes the money. It just gives the fans reasons to come to the games. It gives the team kind of like a personality. It's, the fans just love it. But, man, they've been playing good. It's a big year for them. First time making the playoffs since 2004. No, 2009, I think. Which they actually beat Boston, I think. Or was that 2010? Whatever, I don't even know. But yeah, it's been a long time coming, and they're finally at where they want to be. And I don't think it's going to be a quick series. I think a lot of teams are, or a lot of people are underestimating Carolina, and I think it's going to be a 7-game series nonetheless, and there's 6 or 7. But the Capitals, they're coming off a cup win. They have a lot of veteran guys, a lot of key players that can get the job done, that can put the puck in the back of the net. Hopi, he had a good run last year in the playoffs, but I wouldn't say he's very consistent. So I'm not saying last year was a lucky run for these guys, but I think they're going to fall back down to earth and jump back into reality here in late in the playoffs. I think they're definitely going to get out of the first round series against Carolina, but it's going to be tough for them to go all the way again this year. I don't think they're going to repeat. I do not think they're going to repeat at all. But I pick Washington over Carolina in a 7-game or 6-game series. All right, Pittsburgh and the Islanders. This is going to be a good series. Man, unreal. The Isles lose the face of their franchise in John Tavares, and they have an even better season. They finished, what they finished? Second in their respective division, which is unreal. Barry Trotz has made a big difference for these guys. They've been just going, and if you would go back to what the fuck? And if you would go back to like February or around then, January, I would say that the Islanders would take this series by a long shot. But they've kind of cooled down now, and Pittsburgh is a really depth team. They have a lot of playoff experience in the dressing room. They have a lot of guys that can get it done. Crosby, Malkin, Kessel. They have a lot of guys that can step up. And Murray, he's simply a playoff performer. He really gets it done in the playoffs. And Robin Lehner, man, for the Isles, I cannot see him carrying this team far. I personally think that it's going to be a goaltender series. I think whichever goalie outperforms the other is the team that's going to win the series. And I got to give it to Murray over Lehner. Lehner's just, I don't know, man. I would see Pittsburgh winning the series in 6 or 7 games. And all right, off to the conference finals in the West. We got Calgary and Vegas. And as I said before, it could go either way of the San Jose and Vegas. It could really go either way. And so even if San Jose was in the same position, I could still see Calgary getting eliminated in the second round. Just they do not have the goaltending for them to go far in this playoff run. I really cannot see them getting past the second round, and that's just the reality of this team. And I think that they're not going to go anywhere. And I think that this is where their road ends. They're going to get eliminated in the second round. Plus Vegas, Fleury is probably going to be standing on his head if he plays like himself. Flower can really carry any team to anywheres in the playoffs. He can carry any team, and he's an unreal goalie. Calgary, they have more depth, but I don't know. I just think goaltending is really going to be what's going to hurt them here. Not unless if Riddick can really step up and get it done, or whoever is in net. If it's Mike Smith, if they can step up, maybe they can get it done. But I cannot see Calgary getting past the second round. So I'm gonna have to pick Vegas here. And all right, this series would be a great series, man. If this actually would happen, which there's a chance it might, pretty good odds. I would love this series, man. This would be the best series of the entire playoffs. I would enjoy every game. This is about as even competition as it can get. These two teams, they're both on fire. You know, both teams have everything going right for them right now. But like I said before, in terms of depth, in terms of how the team is built, Nashville is just all around. They have a really solid core of guys that can really get it done. And St. Louis, I don't know. I just have a feeling, even though it'll be a really close series in my opinion, it'll definitely be a high scoring series. I think it goes 7 games for sure. It's not going to be a quick series, but I think Nashville can get it done in 7 games. And I'm talking like a really close series. Like it'll be like fucking 3 overtimes, game 7. Like, it'll be insanely even matchup. It'll be insanely close, but I think Nashville just comes out on top by a very small margin, and they beat the St. Louis Blues. All right, the second round in the East. I'm a big Bruins fan, like I said before, and this is really going to break my heart to say this, but it's just like I already said, like Tampa Bay is just, I have not seen a team this good in years. Like in all my time of watching hockey, I have never seen a team with this much skill and depth, and it's just, ah, man. But I do not think that it is going to be as quick of a series that it was last year. It's not going to go 5 games this year. Maybe Boston can push it to 6, maybe 7. 7 would be really pushing it. But 6 games, I think it's not going to be 5, definitely 6 games. But I think overall, again, Tampa Bay, just with the team that they have, I think that they're going to come out on top here and go to the conference finals and beat out my Bruins, which really breaks my heart to say, but I got to be real with you guys, right? Can't be biased here, but Tampa Bay is going to eliminate the Boston Bruins. And all right, Pittsburgh and Washington. I feel like Washington is going to come back down to earth. Oh my God, don't start calling me. Fuck. I'm going to turn on my phone, man. People calling me. I know I'm famous, but chill, guys. Come on. Got a video to fucking make here. Turn on my phone. All right. Anyway, sorry about that. Yeah, I think Washington is going to come back down to earth. They had a good run last year, but Pittsburgh has just too much depth. I do not see them eliminating Pittsburgh 2 years in a row, and I don't know, man. Pittsburgh has a good depth, and I think I'm just going to have to pick Pittsburgh here. It's a pretty good choice, I'd say. Capitals, I don't see them going back and repeating as Cup champs again. So I think it's going to be fair enough to say Pittsburgh beats out the Capitals this year. And all right, conference finals against Vegas and Nashville. Man, this is going to be another good series, but I feel like if Vegas gets this far, it'll be a relatively, I shouldn't say easy way to the conference finals, but definitely not. They have definitely not played teams as skilled as Nashville coming to the conference finals. So Nashville, man, they have such a depth roster and everything, and I think it's just like it's almost the same as Tampa Bay. Like it's really hard to pick here. Some close series, and Nashville, they just have the scoring. They've been playing hot, and I really just have to pick Nashville here, going to the Cup final for their second time in 3 years. I think it's just how it's gonna be. I can't see it going any other way unless Fleury somehow stands on his head and carries his team to the final, but I cannot see Vegas going to the final 2 years in a row, so it's going to have to be Nashville. And all right, Tampa Bay and Pittsburgh, man. Tampa Bay has a history of choking. They're known to choke in the playoffs, and but I feel like this is really their year to get it done. Like they have been through so much. Last year should have been their year. They choked really in the last 2 games against Washington, but man, they have earned it this year, man. The team, how the team has played, is just phenomenal. They've had a historic season and everything. It'd be way too hard for this team to have the year they had and not at least make it to the final. Like this is just such a good team, and it's hard really to say otherwise. Like I think Tampa Bay is going to eliminate Pittsburgh maybe in 6 games, but it's definitely not going to be a very quick series here. But I think that they're going to get it done and go to the Cup final for the first time since 2015. And Nashville and Tampa Bay, this is going to be another unreal series. This would be an amazing Cup final. It would go at least 7 games. It's not going to be a quick series at all. The defense for both teams is unreal. The scoring for both teams, unreal. The goaltending, it's such an even matchup, and this Stanley Cup final would be unreal. It would not be a high-scoring final. I do not think it would be very high-scoring at all. It'd be a very defensive final. I think the decor would come out in both these teams, and it'd be just an unreal series to watch. But I think Tampa Bay, this is just their year. They have to get it done. If they don't, then there's a lot of questions going into next year. they got a lot of guys that they have to re-sign, and they might not be able to re-sign all of them. I think Vasilevsky has to be re-signed, and Braden Point. I think that they're gonna lose maybe a couple key guys that they're gonna need here. So I just think that this is the year that they have to get it done, and I think that they will get it done in 7 games against the Nashville Predators, and Tampa Bay will be your Cup champions. Usually the scoring isn't very high. I'd say maybe 29 goals. That's a fair fetch for that. And so I'm just going to fill this out. Calgary over Colorado, 6 games. Vegas, San Jose, 7. Over Dallas, I'll give them 6 games. Winnipeg, St. Louis, 7. Tampa Bay, going to be 5 games. Boston over Toronto in 6. 7 games. You know what? I'll give it 6 games, and then Pittsburgh 6 games. So yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good, fair guess here for me for this predictions video. I think this is a pretty good video. I think I have a lot of confidence in my picks, but I am not saying I'm gonna be right. I do not expect to be right. It's just for entertainment purposes only, just to have a good time. So yeah, guys, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy. Leave your opinions down in the comments. Tell me what you think. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me how much you hate my bracket. Go off on me. I'd love to hear it. Thank you guys for watching the video if you guys stuck all the way through. And I love you guys. You guys are amazing. All right. Have a good one, guys.